Okay, Jason, I wanted to
Yes.
ask you a question. It's a little personal, so you
Okay.
don't feel like you have to answer it.
Okay.
Whenever you and your girlfriend are making love, do you... No, that's not the question. That's not the question. It's a basketball thing.
Okay.
I've never been a like let's talk about sex kind of guy.
The thing that I like about when you do it is that you always refer to it as making love.
I have a tender soul. No, I was thinking about this past weekend. I was just goofing around on the computer on YouTube, and the algorithm served up to me the entirety of the 2000 dunk contest, Vince Carter's,
Classic.
the Vince Carter dunk contest, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing is now on there. It's an hour long. You can watch it from beginning credits to end credits.
It's over. It's
wonderful.
over,
Yes,
ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
the one. That's the one. Zuri, can you play Kenny Smith shouting it's over?
It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is. It's so good. I remember exactly where I was when I watched this because I was in college at the time. It was my freshman year. I was staying in the dorms. Everybody was watching it together in the lobby area. There was a TV, and we were just sort of all gathered around watching to see what Vince Carter was going to do, because by this point, he was already a dunking machine. He had, in his rookie year, he had the dunk on Chris Mullin where they're playing the Pacers. He goes baseline, he jumps. Chris Mullins tries to block the dunk. Vince just keeps going up. Rick Smits is there, I believe. Vince is on the if we're looking at the rim, he's at the left side of the rim. Cocks the ball down by his waist and then dunks it on the right side of the rim backwards as he's going through. Like, it was incredible. But he had already had a couple of big dunks like that. So everybody was gathered around to see what's Vince going to do in the dunk contest. And he was, of course, incredible. It's I think the most electric performance we've ever had, by a single person in the dunk contest.
It was life-changing.
The 2016 dunk contest is dunk for dunk, probably the greatest ever. That's Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine. Yeah. That was a tremendous amount of fun. But one person in one moment just sort of taking over everything. So I was curious where you were when you watched this, what you were feeling when you watched it. This is a basketball history moment. It's going to strengthen our friendship if we talk about this.
I was in my apartment that I was renting in college, that I shared with other people, and I was watching the dunk contest with my girlfriend because it was February. It was a few days before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever talked about it explicitly, but the idea was you watch the dunk contest with me and then we're going to have a great Valentine's Day. I'm going to really this was my early Valentine's Day present was watching the Vince Carter dunk contest, because the thing in 2000, the thing that's hard to picture now is you were getting word about what Vince was doing, but it was hard to actually find the clips at that time.
Yes.
You go on NBA.com, or you could go on Sports Illustrated, which was somehow affiliated with CNN. It was CNN SportsIllustrated.com. And you could try to find clips that way. And you could see them on SportsCenter, which is why I basically had SportsCenter on all the time, because it was going to tell me what was going on. But otherwise, there was really no way to know what Vince was doing. So this was a chance to check in firsthand and see what Vince was doing.
Yeah.
And I just remember losing my mind, losing it, because I didn't understand how this could be possible. And also I remember, this is a bad take at the time that I had. I remember being underwhelmed by the arm hang dunk.
Oh, yeah.
And just thinking, okay, so what? The arm, and it was only later on that I was okay, that was really cool. But I remember at the time being the arm hang dunk, come on.
Watching it now, when he does his first dunk, everybody just loses their minds. This big windmill, this incredible, holy shit, he's really going to go for it. He's really going to go for it. The entire arena comes alive. The announcers come alive. The judges come alive. Everybody's oh my God, this is going to be an incredible thing. And it just gets bigger and bigger from there. And watching it now, because when you saw the arm hang dunk for the first time, nobody knew what happened until afterward. So he goes up and he does it. And I remember him dunking and it looking weird as he hung on the rim. And I was like, oh my God, did he just break his arm? Like, is that what just happened? And then they just cut and it's like a shot of Shaq. And he's like, what the fuck just happened?
Shaq with a huge camera that was like a state-of-the-art camera at the time.
And then, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. What the fuck happened? Michael Keaton. Batman was in shock. What the fuck just happened? As he's hanging on the rim. And then they show the replay and everybody's freaking out, losing their mind. It's so much fun to watch, especially now knowing going into it that you're about to see something special.
Yeah.
I think everybody should go watch it on YouTube today. Take an hour and just sit there and watch it. You're going to feel so bad for Jerry Stackhouse, who's also in the dunk contest. And he has to go after Vince Carter.
Relegated to the anecdote of history. Well, after Vince does the first dunk, like he does it so casually. Like he just runs up, windmill with like a 180 like little spin and then bounces on his heels. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, I've never seen somebody in a dunk contest do that cool of a dunk that easily.
Yeah.
In that one moment.
Never.
In that one moment, everybody was like, can we just watch Vince dunk?
And there's something really great about Vince Carter's just like his basketball aura when he's playing, especially when he was dunking at his absolute peak. He was a little bit cooler than everybody else. He looked a little bit meaner than everybody else. He does the great "it's over" gesture.
Yeah.
Like you're just watching this person on TV who for a lot of us, I prior to that moment, I had never heard Vince Carter talk. I had only ever just seen him play basketball.
Oh, I don't think I'd ever heard him talk either. Yeah.
Right? Because he talks and he's like a very soft-spoken person. He's super humble and like, I just want to go out there and I'm just going to try some stuff. And meanwhile, he's fucking Superman on the basketball court. It's incredible. Anyway, everybody go watch it. You're going to love it. It's basketball history. It's so important. You want to start the show?
Let's start the show.
From Wondery, I'm Shea Serrano.
I'm Jason Concepcion.
And this is 6 Trophies.
Hello, I'm Jason Concepcion. Welcome to 6 Trophies, a podcast series hosted by myself and Shea Serrano, in
Fired up
which
today.
we comb through all the NBA news from the past week, and then we hand out 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities. In this episode, Mitchell Robinson is a good human being. The Detroit Pistons refuse to win. Trae Young is good. All that and more. Let's hand out some trophies.
Yeah.
It sounds like Masterpiece Theater. Hello and welcome. Welcome to NBA Masterpiece Theater.
An incredible voice to just impromptu throw out there. Great job. We do 2 sets of trophies, the big trophies and the little trophies. The big trophies are first. These ones are the same every week. First up, the Denzel Washington and Training Day trophy, given out to whoever it is who had the best overall performance. This week's winner, let's get some good vibes in here, some warm feelings. Mitchell Robinson, being a nice guy.
It's just a wonderful, heartwarming story. Mitchell Robinson starting center for the New York Knicks.
Tell the story.
Rebounding machine, Mitchell Robinson, offensive rebounding machine. His high school coach, Butch Stockton, recently lost his wife. His wife passed away. And Mitch was just like, you know what, Butch? Why don't you come live with me? Why don't you just come stay at my pad, come to all the Knicks games, and just be around the team and hang out and be around basketball, be around me, and we're just going to chill out. And this has only emerged recently. It's December.
Been since September.
First week of December. Mitch, who is a very low-key guy, the only thing that I really knew about Mitch before this was that he likes to play Fortnite. That's like, he keeps it very close to the chest. Was not bragging about this, but it emerged last week that he's been doing this, and it's just like a wonderful thing. It's just wonderful. He's running an impromptu, real life version of the movie Up at his house.
It's a really sweet story. It's a great story that to get at the start of December, which is the most wonderful time of the year. It's one of the things where you're like, I love every single part
It's good.
of this relationship that you're learning
It's
about
just good.
in real time. But anybody who has played any sort of sport at any level, you had at some point, more than likely, a coach that you were like, that's a cool ass dude, or that's a cool ass woman. And I would like to stay in this person's life, or just have like a connection with them beyond the sport itself. One of my sons played high school football this year for the first time, and the coach that he had on the team, he was very strict and very mean, right? Just a mean dude. But for some reason, my son, the way he described him to me was like, oh, he's real mean, but I like him a lot. That's how he described him. And I tried to like dig a little bit further and like, why do you feel about this way about this person? And it turned out that it's because he cared more about the kids on the team than he did about football, is what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
That's what I got from the way he talked about this coach. And I would assume that when Mitchell Robinson was in high school and he come across this coach said some things to him that like opened up the world in a way that he had not had it opened up for him, or he did a small thing that stuck in his brain, in his heart. And now here we are. And it's just good.
It's
just makes
good.
me feel good.
It's just good. Don't look for any other extra.
No.
It's just good. Enjoy this. It's good.
It makes me happy. What a way to start the show. All right. Let's go from that to just awful. Just awful. Next trophy, the Lauryn Hill. You might win some, but you just lost one trophy. Given out to whoever it is who had the worst performance. We're going to temporarily change the title of this to You Might Never Win Anything. And you just lost every single game for the month of November. This week's winner, the Detroit Pistons. Oh my God.
That's right.
Oh my God. Wait, Jason,
historic stuff?
Is this something? Jason?
Tell me.
November.
That's pretty
good.
Is
that one?
I like it. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not bad.
All right, I did it.
And you do the W like capital, everything else lowercase. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Zuri, give me a ding. Ding. We did a good thing. All right. Oh my God, the Pistons are so bad. They're so bad. They're so bad.
Here's the thing a couple things about the Pistons. First of all, they shell out almost $80 million for Monty Williams as a coach. You know what that says? That says we're ready. That says we've got a core of guys. They're young, but they need to learn how to play. And so we got to bring in a veteran coach who can help them take that next step. And that person is Monty Williams, who of course is, had long, I would call them excellent runs with the Suns and the Pelicans. And is a coach that is well regarded, very, very highly esteemed across the league. And he's not been able to do anything. He can't. This squad is not doing anything. I think the one thing that really stands out to me in terms of stats, in addition to like not winning for the entire month of November and winning crazy. 2 total games,
that's crazy.
Is 3-point attempts. This is a team that can't shoot. Part of the reason that Cade Cunningham is struggling so much is he's surrounded by guys who can't shoot. So he's like playing like he's inside of a phone booth.
Yeah, it's bad.
Detroit Pistons, they're in the bottom echelon of the league in terms of 3-point shooting. But more than that, they don't take any. They take a second to worst 29.8 3-point attempts per game. They just can't take them. They don't take them and they don't make them. It's both. They're just it's both. And it just makes it really hard. There's no margin at all. You see them like they've been in a lot of these recent games, but they just don't get that separation because they have no efficient offense. None. They've got some nice players, but they just can't put it together. And if you had to underline the main thing, it's the shooting. They can't shoot.
Yeah.
It's bad, folks. They're terrible.
27th in the league in offensive rating, which is not awesome. 24th in defensive rating, which is not awesome. 29th in turnover rate, which is not awesome. 30th in personal fouls, which is not awesome. It's just no fun. It's not even like a fun kind of losing. Like, I don't know.
I think the other part of it too is that like they've really messed up their drafts. Like Killian Hayes is not good.
I was sort of wondering about this same thing because they've been in a rebuild mode. They've been tanking for 5 years, but not on purpose, by accident. I was watching, the Score. They have a video series called Unfiltered, and they did a video. I think it was like a week ago about the Detroit Pistons and why they're so bad. And the guy was just running through a bunch of stuff that I was like, oh man. But beyond just this year, they had the worst record in the league last year. It's been 5 years since they won 30 or more games in a season. It's been 8 years since they've had a winning season. They've been in the playoffs twice in the last 14 years. They haven't won a playoff game in 15 years. Over their last 40 games from this season and this past season, 4-36, which is just, it's just nuts. But so I was like, oh, maybe they've just had some bad luck in the draft. Wow. But I went through each one of them, and it's, I don't know who you pick. Like okay, the 2020 draft when they drafted Killian Hayes. Who came after Killian Hayes?
Well, I mean, Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell and Tyrese Halliburton. But
Tyrese Halliburton would have.
But that wasn't like we made a bad decision at the time. That's a retroactive, like looking at it now. You know what I mean?
I guess. Listen, I don't disagree that retroactively. The Knicks also, with the pick right after this, the Knicks, Obi Toppin's a nice player and is starting to do some stuff for the Pacers. Mm-hmm. But, the Knicks also whiffed on Halliburton. You would argue Vassell would have helped them. They did do well in picking up Emmanuel quickly that draft. But I agree with you, Shea. But the thing is, like, the difference is good teams get lucky more than they get unlucky in these draft moments. Tyrese Maxey down there. And I understand, like, at 21, there's 13 other teams that also passed on Tyrese Maxey. But that's the difference between being 2-18 and being a pretty good team is like, you got to figure out a way to
You're right.
Find those guys. Cole Anthony could help them.
I love Cole Anthony. I love Cole Anthony so much.
Yeah, he's a scrappy guy.
I love him so much.
There's a lot of players down there. Denny Avdia theoretically could have helped them. Like, I think that they could have picked players that could have helped them, and they just didn't. And I understand other teams also didn't. But man, that 2020 draft, I think, is a nightmare for the Pistons. It's just a nightmare.
0 for 15. That's what they did. In the month of November, 0 for 15.
Hey!
I spent an hour and a half trying to think of that.
It's good stuff. I like it.
Next trophy. The Dominic Toretto, I live my life a quarter mile at a time trophy. Given out to whoever it is who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequences.
Let's go!
This week's winner, Ime Udoka. Real short-term decision. Real bad decision.
Now,
walk us through it, Jason. What happens here?
So the Lakers were in the midst of pushing around the 8-9 Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets are kind of a surprise team. They're lurking around 500 in the midst of a culture overhaul after several years of losing in the wake of the James Harden era. And Ime Udoka, I guess, felt that the team was playing soft and got into it with LeBron James. There's some really good audio enhanced footage out there that will let you know what was happening. Essentially, he called LeBron a bitch. LeBron took umbrage at that. And they go back and forth. And Ime Udoka, already on a tech, gets ejected. And then after the game, has a fucking great quote where he's just like, well, the Lakers, they're not known for playing tough, and we were getting pushed around by them. So, obviously that's like a huge problem. Now, I just think this is wonderful theater. And I have a question for you, Shea. You mentioned that your son has a coach, hard-nosed coach in his life that he likes. Mm-hmm. I think that what Ime Udoka was doing here is showing his team, hey, you can't just be in awe of LeBron. It's not necessarily about LeBron. It's about we have to be tough. Look at me. Now your coach is going out here and stepping to great players because you won't do it. You need to do it, my Rockets players. You need to be the tip of the spear in regards of challenging opposing players. And since you won't do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show you how it's done. And I'm going to get ejected. And it's going to be a lesson. Do you think that's what Udoka was doing?
I think that's what he was doing, yes. I also think you can't do that for two reasons.
I agree.
You can't do that for two reasons. Number one, because you remember playing in the NBA and you remember trying to guard LeBron and you remember what he did to you all of those times. And so you know when this
Spurs
happens,
legend.
this happens, somebody's going to go and compile all the footage and put a video together and be like, here's what it looked like when Ime was guarding LeBron in the league. And that's exactly what happened. It's like a 2-minute video of LeBron just setting him on fire over and over again. That's all that it was. So you can't do it because of that. Self-preservation, for one. But for two, coaches will do a version of that, but it's always directed at a non-player. Like you do that with the referee, right?
Right.
That's who you do that with. Or you do that with the league, but not with the other players on the team. It has to be a player who does that. The coach can't do that part. That's a different thing. That's a different division. Yeah. You can't do that because then it feels like when I was a teacher, the one thing that you could never ever do was call the principal and have them come to your class to like talk to a kid. You could never do that because as soon as you did that, you lost all of the power in the classroom, right? All the kids were like, oh, this person, he can't do it on his own. He needs to call the principal. Like that's Ime doing that here felt to me like, oh, that's the principal trying to show up and like restore order in the classroom. It's just bad on all accounts. It was a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence. It was a very Dominic Toretto. As soon as it happened, the group chat lit up and was like, we have our Dominic Toretto winner.
I agree with you. Here is my take on that. I think Ime was trying to fire up his team. You know, personally, I don't like mind games like this. I've always liked when a teacher, a coach, whoever just said, here's what I want.
Yes.
Just tell me very clearly what you're looking for, because if you're doing this like weird, I'm going to motivate you by doing this, that, and the other and teach you like I don't like. It's the same thing with directors. Whenever you like read like a story about like, here's David Fincher knew that this actor didn't like the New York Mets, and so just played like the New York Mets, classic loss game at very high levels on the, like, don't do that. Just tell me what you're looking for. Don't try to motivate me in this weird way. And also, like, didn't you acquire Dylan the Villain Brooks, who I think we all agree is in no way in awe of LeBron James and has no qualms about poking the bear in his own words? Like, you don't need to be doing that. You're doing too much. And and thirdly, didn't you just get fired from a job? Like, can you go one season, like, for bad reasons? Let's go one season just showing that you're a good coach without any of the ancillary stuff, who's able to, like, instill good defensive and offensive principles in a team and change the culture without all the other shit. Just do that without all the other shit for, like, one season, one full season, and then mix in the other shit. That's all I'm saying.
That is correct. That sounds right.
Okay.
It's interesting to me. It's funny. It's a little bit funny to me that LeBron has this thing of like in Back to the Future when you couldn't call Marty McFly a chicken. If you called him a chicken, like that set him off. Like we have now a history of a couple of times in the 2016 finals. Draymond called LeBron a bitch, and then Clay commented on it saying, I guess his feelings got hurt. And then LeBron just went nuts over games 5, 6, and 7, 40-something points, triple-double in game 7. Like, it sort of fired him up. A similar thing happened in 2015 when the Bulls and the Cavs were playing. The series was tied 1-1. He dunked on Joakim Noah. Noah and LeBron did not like each other a bunch. They get to John back and forth. And Noah, like, very famously was like, you're still a bitch, though. Like, you dunked on me, sure, but you know what I mean? And then LeBron got them out of the playoffs, too. Like, don't activate the Winter Soldier here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't say the words. Come on.
Next trophy, the Daniel Plainview. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy trophy. which is given out to whoever it is we're temporarily giving up on for the week.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
It's still funny. It's still funny to me every
Yeah.
time. This week's winner, let's go ahead and give up on Mark Cuban for a week or so. Let's give up on Mark. Let's give up on him.
Mark has legitimately abandoned his
Yeah.
child with the deal that he has struck to sell a majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks. He doesn't own all of the Mavericks. He owns a portion of it, the majority portion. He's selling some of that portion to Miriam Adelson, the widow of prolific GOP donor and casino magnate Sheldon Adelson, for $3.5 billion. The deal will apparently allow Cuban to retain control of the team and will inject his bank account with a cool $3.5 billion in cash.
So much money.
He's also stepping down from Shark Tank. There's a lot of conjecture about why he's doing this. Some of it might be an attempt to bring gambling to Texas, sports gambling to Texas. Could he be setting up a run for office? We don't know. But what we do know is Mark Cuban has abandoned his child for $3.5 billion.
I think more accurately, rather than this category being we're giving up on Mark Cuban is abandoning
That's right.
the Mavericks. He's abandoning Shark Tank. Shark Tank is an incredible TV show. I love Shark Tank. I've seen so many episodes of Shark Tank.
It's pretty
It's
crazy.
good. Womp, 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 womp.
I am happy for Mark. He's rich again. He's richer. But I'll just say this. When you buy a thing, as Miriam Adelson has done, don't you eventually want to control it? Like, I get that there's stuff in there and the agreement is that Mark will retain control and they won't come into basketball operations at all. But that feels like a very temporary arrangement, right? Because like at a certain point in time, if you bought a thing, you're going to want to sit in the driver's
chair.
seat and,
You wanna sit in the chair.
feel the leather and put your hands on the steering. I feel like that is coming. That will happen.
Mark Cuban has so much money. Here's his.
Yeah, tell me.
I remember that. I think it was like on Fox when they would do like behind the story type of documentaries, and there was one about Mark Cuban, and they talked about how when he started out, one of his first jobs he ever did was going door to door selling trash bags as like a kid, like a child, and then just sort of always had a sense for business. Like if you look through his business resume, it's pretty incredible. All of this stuff that he's done. I think the most impressive part is he sells broadcast.com, which is a thing he co-founded. Right before the bubble burst, he just got like
Smart.
$5.7 billion. Like, yeah, he has always sensed that a thing is coming. So I think when he went and sold a little bit of when he sold a portion of the ownership of the Mavericks, I know there was at least a certain number of people who were like, what does this mean for the NBA? Is this a bad sign for the NBA? Because he's always been very good at being like, here's when it's the most valuable, sell it now, and then I'm going to do something else.
Here's my comeback. He did that one time.
Yeah.
He did that one. It's not like he kept doing that. He did it once. I don't know about like Mark Cuban as an oracle. Remember Cyberdust? Like that never changed the world. And to all the people who are saying, well, Mark's very canny and he did this great deal. He's going to retain control. I don't know what you're worried about. Miriam Adelson is 78 years old. I agree with you. She probably will not want to be involved with basketball, but she's got 5 kids. If my mom bought the New York Knicks, right? A majority stake in the New York Knicks. And she's like, listen, I bought the New York Knicks, but here's the thing. James Dolan's going to be in control of it. That's the deal we made. At a certain point, I'm going to go, okay, but like, didn't we buy it? And I just feel like one of Miriam Adelson's kids or grandkids is in the next few years is going to get in her ear like, I don't know, I'd like to run a team. I think that'd be cool. Did we buy it, Mom? Like, what's going on? Like, can we hand us the keys? Like, what?
You're probably
I'm just saying.
You're probably right. Next trophy. The Chief Keef, that's that shit I don't like trophy, which is given out to a person or a team who did a thing and we don't like it. I don't like it. This week's winner, Trae Young, just fucking playing really, really well. I don't like it. I don't like it. I like it most of the time. Trae Young is one of my favorite players to watch, especially in the playoffs, especially when they're playing the Knicks. But he did it to the Spurs this weekend, and I And I was so mad. Like, I instantly understood why other teams hate him, because he just killed us. This is over his last 7 games, almost 32.9 points per game, 10 assists per game, over 3 rebounds per game, almost 2 steals per game, 47% from the field, 42% from 3. Like, he's just balling. He hung 45 on us. He's 15 to 29 from the field or something like that, 14 assists. It was like he would shoot a shot. We would all run at him the next possession. He would dish it for a Clint Capella dunk. It was like they just kept doing it over and over. Then he makes the game-saving defensive stop at the end of the game. It draws a charge with 2.7 seconds left. It's just, I didn't like it. I like it all the other times. I didn't like it this weekend. It was awful.
I don't like it either as a fan of a team that plays in the same division as the Hawks and is a rival of them. As a fan of a team who was booted out of the playoffs by the hot play of one Trae Young. But I will say this. Here's the thing I like about the Hawks. I like Quinn Snyder came in. The Hawks hired Quinn Snyder, gave him a 5-year deal. Quinn's first move is to buy a pair of red framed glasses and wear them all the time. He's like, I'm going to show you how much I am here for the Hawks. Red frame glasses. Boom. And then the next thing he did is, everybody's like, how's he going to alter the way they play? Is he going to move Trae off the ball more? Is he going to try and shore up the defense? We know the Hawks can score, but don't they need to improve their defense? And Quinn Snyder's gone, fuck that. We're going to outscore everybody and fuck defense. The Atlanta Hawks are like the 3rd best team by offensive rating in the league, 119.9 currently, according to Basketball Reference, points per possession. And then defensive rating, it don't matter. It literally doesn't matter. They're just, towards the bottom, whatever. They're like the 5th worst in the league, giving up basically the same amount of points as they're scoring per possession. And you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Who cares? Just score the fucking basketball. We have Trae. Just set him loose and do it. And honestly, I like it. I love that Quinn Snyder was like, what am I going to do? Just outscore everybody. That's what we're going to do.
It's like he just got off the phone with Mike D'Antoni. It's like, I got it.
Just like,
I got it,
don't
guys.
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I got it. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
I was so mad when Trae Young was torching us. I was so mad. Get this guy
It's
out
annoying.
Trae Young is doing this? Oh my God, I was so mad. He's so good. And it's so just much fun to watch him do it against anybody else.
I feel like, here's thoughts I have when Trae Young is destroying my team. I think if I was a player, I would just fight him. Because I feel like it's the only thing you can do. Mm-hmm. People are always like, oh, you got to double team. You got to do this. You got to show him different looks. You got to be physical with him. He's like 6 foot. You think teams aren't trying to be physical with him? They are. It just doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So what I would do is I feel like just fight him. Somebody fight him. Can't you just I would pay the 12th guy on my team. I'd be like, here's like $5,000. Here's my watch. I'll give you a couple phones. What else you want? Do you like my jacket? Here's, take my jacket. Will you just go fight Trae Young? Just fight him. Just
punch him in the stomach. That's what you want?
Yeah, just once hard in the stomach.
I feel like he would only get more powerful. That's all that would happen. That's what he wants. He's Reggie Miller in that sense. John Starks headbutts him, and Reggie's like, I got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but wouldn't it feel good for that 30 seconds when he's doubling over from the punch in the gut?
I don't know. I don't think so. You know what I was thinking when he was torching the Spurs? I was thinking that thank God for the Detroit Pistons, because the Spurs have been terrible, but nobody cares because the Pistons have been worse.
I'm glad that you brought this up. 14 losses in a row for the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. Here's the difference. The Spurs are like, we're figuring it out. We have Wembanyama. We're giving him most of the offensive load so he can figure out how to be a star in this league, right? Jeremy Sojan, who I don't like, but still we're teaching him how to be a point guard. Devin Vassell, we're teaching him how to be a real player in the league. And this is how you learn. You spend wins. The Pistons were like, we're ready to take the step. That's why we hire Monty Williams at $80 million because we think we're good. That's the difference. The Pistons thought they were good and ready to take the next step. The Spurs understand who they are. That's the difference. And not to defend the Spurs. You don't need my defense. But that to me is the difference.
You should always defend the Spurs.
Okay.
I think every time I see Quinn Snyder, I think about how he looks like he just got finished tying a woman to a railroad track. Like he just looks like like a cartoony villain from 1945.
I tweeted this once, but I think Quinn Snyder looks like the Joker before he fell into the chemicals that turned him into the Joker.
That sounds good. The Jack Nicholson Joker or the comic book Joker?
They both, but the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Did you see, we're going to just wander down this path for just a second before we get back to basketball. Robert Pattinson Batman movie.
Of course.
I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it.
Why?
But there's a part in there where he is in the Bat Cave and like smashing pumpkins or whoever is playing as the score of the music. I mean, as the score of the movie. And then Alfred walks in and Batman turns the music down and it turns out he was listening to Smashing Pumpkins, not the score of the movie. It was like and I just went, I don't like this. This is not that great. But I was on my way towards saying, after the movie came out, they released a clip. It was like 4.5 minutes long, maybe 5 minutes of Batman going to see Joker in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And it's played by Barry Keoghan. Is that how you say his last name?
I believe so. The Irish actor.
Yeah. And I was enthralled with that. I thought I wish we would have got that in the movie. I really loved it. I want to see his version of Joker because it was very, very unsettling.
I enjoyed the Batman movie, that particular Robert Pattinson Batman movie. My only note would be if you're the bad guys in Gotham City and you find out that the suit is bulletproof, as it clearly is, because you're shooting at him from point blank range with submachine guns and the shit's bouncing off, shoot him in the face. Shoot him where the skin is. Stop shooting the suit. That's all. That's my note for the henchmen of Gotham City.
Next trophy, the Step Brothers Catalina Wine Mix Trophy. Given out to whatever it is we're most excited about for the upcoming week. This week's winner, we're excited about what the Timberwolves are going to do next. Jason, what's going on in Minnesota? The number 1 seed in the Western Conference? Who saw this coming? My
favorite thing about the Timberwolves right now, you've got Rudy Gobert playing the best defense of his career. He's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, much to Draymond's chagrin, probably. You've got Anthony Edwards, who's, I think you could argue, the most electric young star in the league. And all the questions from last season, can the Rudy lineups work? Can Cat and Rudy play together? Can they fit? All of that has been answered. They're doing it.
Every single
one. But what
I
really love about these Timberwolves is I feel like they're just sweeping away the older generation of teams. I mean, I target the Timberwolves versus the Warriors as the moment that broke the Warriors and brought them to the place that they are now. The Warriors struggling, Draymond Green taking charges, flopping, laying on the ground and crying and then arguing with his coach, like all the stuff that's happening to them. I think it's because of the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves play the Lakers December 21st. I feel like it's going to happen to the Lakers. I feel like the Timberwolves are here to like turn the page on an entire chapter of NBA history with the way they're playing right now.
That's exactly what it feels like. Because you're watching them do that to the teams who have been running stuff for the last few years. And then you're watching this other group of like younger teams. Denver is at the forefront, obviously, right? But Minnesota, Oklahoma City, like these young teams that are deciding, all right, we're going to be good now. We're going to be really, really good now. The Timberwolves are just they're the most fun of the bunch to watch. They're the most intimidating right now. They've only won as a franchise 50 or more games 4 times ever, and it feels like that's going to happen this season. They have the second easiest remaining schedule in the league left throughout the rest of the season, It's feeling real good. This is the best start in franchise history. They're playing great at home, 9-1 as we record this. They just don't get beat at home. They're winning the games that they were losing last year. Last year, they had a bunch of times where they gave up double-digit leads. It was like something like 18 times that they did that. And this season, they feel like a different team. They feel like they're not afraid. They feel like they're ready for this moment. All of the pieces fit together nicely. They could play 500 ball for the rest of the season and finish with 46 wins. That's going to happen. They're not going to lose half of the games for the rest of the season. They're going to do better than that.
Here's the other thing. You mentioned the Nuggets are the class of the league right now. I don't care like I'm not super interested in like they won this game, they lost this game. I think Jokic is the best player in the league. Mm-hmm. And they just have a chemistry from having been together for a while that is something that other teams really can't match. That said, you know who matches up really well with the Denver Nuggets is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have the size. Rudy, again, is that type of player who can follow Jokic all around the floor. Cat has the size as well. I feel like they can give the Nuggets a run for their money. This is a team that can really push them. I'm excited about the Timberwolves.
I'm excited about the Timberwolves. This is the 20-year anniversary of when the Timberwolves made the Western Conference Finals. The only time they've ever done it. The 2004 Timberwolves. If I'm not mistaken, 2004 Timberwolves, that's that KG team that lost to the Lakers. 20-year anniversary. The Minnesota Timberwolves could end up back in the Western Conference Finals this year, which would be so wonderful. They would be playing the Denver Nuggets, and it would really be something to watch.
Let's go! Congratulations to the Timberwolves. I know a bunch of Timberwolves fans, and they're honestly in shock. They don't know how to react right now. They're just like, I'm just happy. I don't know what's going on. I did not expect this. And I'm just like, I have a friend of mine was like, hey, I wanted to text you after the Timberwolves beat the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, but then I didn't because I felt bad. This is how the Timberwolves, that's how they are right now. It's like they're winning and they can't even brag about it because they're just like, I don't know. I don't know what this feeling is. I just feel good.
There's nothing better than when a team was bad, a small market team was bad, and then they get real good. Yeah. Sacramento Kings in the early 2000s was like, that was one of the most fun places to watch basketball games be played. They got them stupid cowbells going, Rick Adelman walking up and down the sideline, and Mike Bibby just doing what Mike Bibby does. The Minnesota Timberwolves could be that this postseason, like a really scary team that is doing it for the first time in 20 years. And I'm can't wait.
For them.
I'm so
happy
excited.
For them. I'm happy for them.
Let's do the little trophies. These ones change each week and are situation specific. They're for the smaller storylines that we want to mention but don't need to get all the way into. I'll go first. My first little trophy. The Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. It's pretty cool, I guess. Trophy.
It's pretty cool, I guess.
To the Dallas Mavericks, going on a 30-0 run against the OKC Thunder.
What a historic achievement and what a coincidence, because my first little trophy is the Whip Whitaker from Flight. No one could have landed the plane like I did trophy.
No one could have landed that plane like I did.
To the Dallas Mavericks for that historic 30-0 run in a loss to the Thunder.
This was a perfect basketball moment.
It was incredible.
For me as a fan in San Antonio to watch. Because separately, just watching a team go on a 30-0 run. They're down 24 points, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they come all the way back and they end up leading by 6 points or something. It just hitting every single shot. They're playing in Dallas. Dallas is going nuts. As a basketball fan watching it, you're like, this fucking rules. When a team gets rolling like this, it's so much fun to watch. But then I get the added bonus of, as a Spurs fan, watching the Mavericks then fall apart in the final moments of the game to lose it after doing the incredible thing, and then you lose the game. It was delicious. The Mavericks are good, and I hate it. They're good, and I hate it. My next little trophy. The Dirty Harry. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? What do you, punk? Trophy.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Well, do you, punk?
This is to whoever it was who drew up the play for Draymond Green to shoot a game-winning three-pointer attempt when the Warriors were playing. It didn't go in. You've got Steph Curry, but let's get the ball to Dre. Let's get the ball to Dre in the corner. It very likely that wasn't what the play setup was, but it looked like it when Steph drove into the lane and kicked it out to a wide-open Draymond, who then binked it off the rim. He did not feel lucky.
If I'm a Warriors fan, Draymond was hot from the field this game. But I got to tell you, there is no probably scarier feeling than a bad shooter hitting shots because you know they're going to continue.
Yes, they're going to keep throwing it up there.
They're going to keep doing
throwing it up there.
And this is one of those. You just kind of knew it wasn't going to go in.
Yeah.
My next little trophy is the Dick Thornburg from Die Hard. Mr. McClane, now that it's all over after this incredible ordeal, what are your feelings, trophy?
Mr. McClane, now that it's all over after this incredible ordeal, what are your feelings?
To Jason Kidd and Jayson Tatum. And this trophy is really just about attacking reporters. Of course, you all recall this incredible button scene to the incredible action movie Die Hard, in which John McClane's ex-wife punches Dick Thornburg, the annoying and toxic reporter, for just really causing a lot of trouble all throughout this incredible movie. And I really feel like, similarly, Jason Kidd, and to a lesser degree, Jayson Tatum, the Jasons, have also had enough. Jason Kidd, Zuri, do you have the clip of Jason Kidd recently going at a reporter?
Write some positive shit.
I just asked you a question.
And I'm giving you a fucking answer. Like, you guys, you know, there's all right to write positive stuff. People will read your positive shit. You don't always have to be negative.
Incredible editorializing from Jason Kidd. And then Jayson Tatum, after recently being ejected in a game versus 76ers, saying to Jared Weiss, I wasn't that fucking mad. Don't put that narrative out there. I didn't throw nothing. I said what I said. There was no magic words. I love that Jayson Tatum was so mad that he wanted to make sure, listen, don't you fucking write that I was mad.
Don't you write it. Don't you dare write
it. Congratulations, Jason's. Well deserved.
My last little trophy, the John Coffey and the Green Mile. I'm sorry for what I am trophy.
Sorry for what I am.
This one goes to the NBA for retroactively trying to undo the Jayson Tatum ejection from the Celtics game against the Sixers. Just apologizing. Oh, that's our bad. The thing that got him kicked out, that should not have happened. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
I hate the last 2-minute report. Just take your beating and move on when you fuck up. I don't want to hear it because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Does it make you feel better or worse if your team is vindicated?
It makes me feel worse. And it doesn't help anything. It makes the team who won, it undercuts their win. The team that lost feels like, well, what the fuck? I can't go to the record books with an asterisk next to my L. Like that it doesn't actually count as a win. And it makes the ref probably feel like the NBA doesn't support us. They just hang us out there to dry when we make a bad call. I think it's an all around bad idea and it helps nothing. I hate it.
It's bad.
My final little trophy is the Bob Costas in basketball Feel These Nipples trophy.
Feel these nipples.
To the 22 teams who didn't make the in-season tournament quarterfinals knockout rounds. And folks, the in-season tournament quarterfinals are starting. Why do all of a sudden the tournament days shift from Tuesday, Friday to Monday? I don't know. Oh, you think you're excited? Feel these nipples.
I can't believe they got Bob Costas to say that in a movie.
He's very embarrassed about it. He's given interviews where he's like, I don't know why I agreed to do this. And I feel terrible. Why couldn't they give that line? By the way, I think that line works better if Al Michaels, who he's sitting next to, says it. I think Al Michael should have said that.
We did it again, Jason.
Yay!
Perfect from the field. No mistakes
Let's
this episode.
go.
All right, let's get out of here. We close every episode just by saying the names of underappreciated old basketball players with no context at all, while the theme music carries us out. Zuri, will you play the theme music, please? I'm Shea Serrano. That's Jason Concepcion. Producer Zuri in the shadows making the noises. See y'all next Wednesday. Anton Jameson.
Oh, Vontigo Cummings.
Oh, Bonti. Let's go. Jason Williams.
Mikey Moore.
Oh my God, you're going real deep cuts today.
Yeah.
Larry Hughes.
Ooh. I'm going to do this one for you. Avery Johnson.
The little general. 19-footer from the baseline for the championship. Bonzi Wells.
Oh, Bonzi. Eric Piatkowski, Clippers legend.
Keon Clark.
Oh, wow. Keon Clark. Great dunks. Calbert Cheney.
Rafe LaFrance.
Oh. Blew the elbow pass. Jeff Trepanier.